And the Republicans are inching closer to getting their tax and spending cut bill through Congress with a marathon of votes underway in the Senate.
At some 940 pages, this legislation is a collection of tax breaks, spending cuts and other Republican priorities, including money for national defense and deportations.
The Democrats are united against the legislation and have offered scores of amendments to alter it. Senators can offer an unlimited number of amendments, with each receiving a vote. Once the bill clears the Senate, it would have to pass the House before Trump can sign it into law.
Now, Trump wants to have the package on his desk by the time Independence Day festivities begin on Friday, with little sign of pace picking up ahead of the final floor vote that could be delayed until well into the early hours of Tuesday. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called for Republican resolve.
Republicans need to stay tough and unified during the home stretch, and we are counting on them to get the job done.
Non-partisan studies have concluded that the bill would ultimately pave the way for a historic redistribution of wealth from the poorest 10% of Americans to the richest, and cuts to the Medicaid program, which helps low-income Americans get coverage in a country with notoriously expensive medical insurance. Independent analysis shows cuts to the Affordable Care Act would result in nearly 12 million more uninsured people by 2034. Polls show that the bill is among the most unpopular ever considered across multiple demographics, age and income groups.
Now, former Trump aide Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who had an acrimonious public falling out with President earlier this month over the bill, continued with his sharp criticisms and renewed his calls for a new political party as voting got underway.
Through a post on social media, Musk threatened that he will launch the American if and when the bill, which he termed insane. He said that, of course, this is what he had said: if this insane spending bill passes, the American party will be formed the next day. Now, he went on to say that the country needs an alternative to the Democratic Republican parties so that the people actually have a voice. Sharing a graphic representation of national debt under Democrats and under Republicans, he said they just pretend to be two parties, but it's a uni-party in reality.
Now, for more on this, a correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from the UN headquarters. Listen to this.
The Senate is currently locked in a marathon of amendment votes over President Trump's one big, beautiful bill. Key objections from Republican senators like Rand Paul and Tom Tillis, who cite concerns over Medicaid cuts and the growing deficit, have put the final passage into doubt. The bill would also extend Trump-era tax cuts that are set to expire in 2026, which means that if it doesn't pass, between 62 to 68% of Americans would face tax increases starting that year. But even if the Senate goes ahead and passes this bill, any changes would force it back in the House, where the Freedom Caucus have already threatened to withdraw their support. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.